The Classic Metal Show now has all of our videos on Spotify. Simply look up and subscribe to the CMS Network on Spotify, and you'll get the audio and video podcast episodes each day from The Classic Metal Show. It's never been easier to watch or listen to Neeley and Chris, so simply open Spotify, subscribe to the CMS Network, and enjoy The Classic Metal Show every single day.
From the Outrider release, that is Jimmy Page with Wasting My Time. And can you believe already, dude, it's been 15 years since that last Zeppelin reunion.
Yeah, man, we are getting old and creeping toward.
Gone by.
Dude, we're not creeping toward the grave. We're speeding toward it, aren't we?
That's good. I mean, I remember when they were announcing that, there potentially could be a reunited Zeppelin tour, and everybody was getting excited about that. And then it was only the one-off at the O2 Arena for the celebration day.
Right.
And then, there was all kinds of talk that they were going to do something, and then Robert Plant didn't want to do it. And then Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones and Jason Bonham were talking about going out with a different singer.
Yeah, they tried out Miles Kennedy.
Yeah, and that didn't happen, obviously. And 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's dude. It's crazy when you think about so many of our favorite bands had careers less than 15 years, and it's been it's. So how many of our favorite bands are we looking at a lifetime? 15, 20 years is a lifetime as far as a music entity goes. And they're almost double that since their last good records, since the ones people cared about. Bands like a Def Leppard. It's been what, 25 years, 35 years since Def Leppard had a really good record? I'll say what, 87?
So it's almost been 40 years.
Almost 40 years, 35 years since Def Leppard had a good record.
Yeah. How
long has it been since Robert Plant had a good record?
Well, the last one that I really enjoyed was that Faded Nations.
When did that come out?
I think that was 93 or 94.
So that's like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus, we are screaming toward the finish line, my friend.
Yeah, I still play that Faded Nations.
Yeah, it's a good one. My favorite from him was Manic Nirvana.
Yeah, well, that was before. That was like, was it, 89?
That was in the 80s, yeah.
89 or 90. It was somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that was Now and Zen.
Another decent record.
That's a real good one. That had the Tall Cool one on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, he was good for a while.
Yeah, Heaven Knows, Tall Cool one, Ship of Fools.
Yeah, those are all good. And, the obviously Big Log and.
Yeah, well, that was early 80s.
Yeah, that was right after Zeppelin. But yeah, and then now he does folk records with Alison Krauss.
Yeah.
Which are still listenable. I don't know if you've ever listened to any of them, but they're actually listenable.
Yeah, I've been checking it out. The new one from Mellencamp I haven't checked out yet.
Yeah, you might want to not.
Really? It's not very good?
It's definitely not. It's what you think when you're reading his press and and he's saying things like, "Oh, I always hated Jack and Diane. I hate that fucking song. This is what I'm doing now." It's like,
well, he likes the fact that he's ruined his voice with smoking over the decades because of the gravelly, bluesy old black blues man gravel, vocals. And he says he likes that. I mean, the last record that I really liked from Mellencamp was Whenever We Wanted.
Same here. That's the one with that one song that goes
yeah.
I don't remember the name of it.
They're dropping their bombs in the
Yeah.
southern hemisphere, and people are starving that live right here. That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Whatever that song's called.
Love and happiness.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked some of the other ones, but that I have this whole catalog because I'm just a fan.
Sure.
But as far as the last really good record that I really liked a lot was that Whenever We Wanted.
See, he's hit or miss for me. I mean, I like even in the heyday, I like most of the stuff, but like Scarecrow, I hated. I just hated that stripped down, sounds like it was recorded in a field sound that he
Well,
did. And that had ROCK in the USA on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that even that song, I didn't really like that song very much,
But
even
that
though it was
but
a
that
huge hit.
but that um Lonesome Jubilee, I played
Mhm.
the shit out of that record.
Yeah, that had what, Cherry Bomb?
Yep, Cherry Bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's hit or miss. See, like Lonesome Jubilee, that's that same sound I don't like. That kinda sounds like you would hear it at a hoedown.
Well, yeah, well, that's what he was kind of going for. It's sort of that. It was that midwestern rock music, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I like more of the Ain't Even Done with the Night stuff, the earliest stuff. Jack and Diane,
Well, you like the more pop stuff,
of course, Pink Houses.
yeah.
I'm in.
Well, but the dirtiest record, you know, the my probably my favorite record, just got the dirtiness in it, is that
Mhm.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my favorite one
That,
too.
that one just kicks my ass every time I listen to it.
Hey, what the fuck?
Because it's just so dirty. I mean, because it's just a raw, dirty record.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one. And a mother loving
It
for
it
you.
it goes,
Oh,
"A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, hey, what the fuck?
yeah, I like
Uh,
that.
uh, uh."
Yeah. No, see, that's when he was great. Is a great album.
It
I
is a
love
great
that
album.
album.
It's just well, they recorded that. They wrote and recorded that in, like, under, like, 2 weeks.
Hmm.
It was just a hurry up, get it done, get in the studio, and just bust it out.
Yeah.
And it was like a spontaneous good record. It wasn't overproduced, it wasn't
Hmm.
overthought, it was just a dirty, whatever lyrics came out of their, you know, heads at that time, and just
Right.
bang.
What was the hit off that? Walls come tumbling down. When the
Well, that's
walls
one of them,
come
and Big
tumbling.
Houses was on that. That was the
Yeah.
huge one.
Yeah. Pink Houses was massive.
Uh-huh.
Remember MTV giving away the pink house?
I do.
And then like 6 months later, that guy filed for bankruptcy because he couldn't make the payments on the land or
Well,
something.
I remember, it was they were having a party, and people were, I can't remember if they were giving away the pink house or people showed up to paint the house pink and they gave it away or something to that
Yeah,
effect.
something like that. Yeah.
And then Mellencamp performed at a backyard party.
Hmm. But I just remember the guy somehow went bankrupt and had to give back the house. He like couldn't afford the taxes on the land or something.
I think there was more to the story. I think the guy got in some kind of an accident or something. He got into a car accident
Okay.
and he got laid up or something like that, and it was, he had to sell the house. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, why didn't Mr. Communal Property just buy it for him?
Yeah, who knows?
He's all about the commune. He's a fucking
Sure.
straight communist.
Yeah, well, he basically said he's a socialist,
Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense to me because this guy has had the great fortune, due to his talent and his
Mhm.
drive and his ability to perform and sing
Yeah.
and do what he's done for, over 4 decades, almost 5 decades.
Mhm.
And how could somebody who has earned a living doing that and lived off of the riches of his fame and fortune and go, yeah, I'm a socialist? What?
Pro Probably because he knows that he wouldn't be living on the bottom tier because he has money.
Yeah, I know, but socialism is when the government says, well, you have more than you need, so we're going to take your
Sure.
excess. We're going to take more because your neighbor doesn't have what you have,
Yeah.
and everybody needs to be equal. So we're going to take your stuff and give it to the other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he's like that. He's
That's a bizarre
yeah,
thing,
he's just a
and
buffoon.
Yeah, it's politics and people and music and stuff just don't mix.
Well, it's first of all, it's the illusion that they're smart just because you see them on TV a lot. Because you see them on TV a lot doesn't make them smart.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, dude, we know a million musicians, and most of them are stupid.
Yeah. Well,
Honestly, most of them are dumb.
the thing is if they try to talk politics,
Yeah,
they're 9 times out of 10, they're influenced by what they saw on CNN.
sure. Well, they're uninformed because they don't have time to sit down and actually do any research. They're on the
Well,
fucking road all the time.
that part is true, and what they do know or they pretend to know or claim to know is what they saw on CNN.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know why? Because CNN's on in the airports and
Well,
shit.
yeah, and I heard that the airports are pulling CNN, off
Are
their
they?
TVs and shit, yeah.
Well, I'll never know because I'm not getting a shot so I can fucking fly. Fuck
You
off.
don't need a shot to fly,
I,
not domestically.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh.
I flew just before Christmas, remember?
Well, to be honest, it's an empty threat for me. I haven't actually been on a plane since 2010.
Well,
So,
now if you're gonna go out of the country, it's a different story.
yeah.
But domestic flights, no, you don't have to have the poke for that.
Dude, I'm having a hard time getting out of my home,
I get you.
let alone getting on a plane to go somewhere. I ain't going anywhere. Fuck
You
that.
know me, I fly several times a year,
Yeah.
gone to different events and things,
Yeah.
but no, it's not a problem. I mean, I flew out for the Piercy thing back in February of last year, and then I flew out, for the whiskey shows, in
Mhm.
December,
Yeah.
so that wasn't an issue.
Yeah. I'll pass. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want some swishy dork telling me to put my mask on.
Well, I tell you what, both times that I flew out to LA, for the Piercy thing and for the Dockin thing, last year, I flew first class both times and I had really good service and I didn't have any swishy dudes.
Well, they're probably laid off.
I tell you what though, when I always sit if I can, if I can get the seat, I always book the seat. When you walk into the plane, I always book the first seat in first class on the right hand side of the aisle
Okay.
because the stewardesses can see you because the little pantry area or the little food service area is off
Mhm.
to the left or to the
Okay.
if you're sitting, it's off to the right. Well, when
Right.
they're standing up there just doing whatever they're doing, they can always see you, and if
Okay.
they see your glass is empty, like if you're drinking wine or something, which I drink like red wine during the flight,
Right.
they as soon as your glass is empty, they see your glass is empty and they come. I bet you they serve me 4 times more than anybody else because they
S
could see me.
Stagger off the plane.
Yeah, but I've done that numerous times and it's true. And it's just like, yeah, if you sit on that side and you're within view and they see your glass is empty, they'll come right over and fill your glass right back up.
Nice. Nice. I like that. Although
So
for me, that would be dangerous because I would absolutely take advantage of that.
I have.
Ooh.
It's
Dude, I
good.
remember I remember one flight I took back from Korea and I just got bombed. I was on Korean Air. It was I think it's 9.5 hours back to LA,
Yeah.
and it was free beers on the plane. And holy fuck, I must have drank 20 beers on the plane. I was fucked. And it was my first time coming home. And so I get to LA, I'm completely wasted. And I had like a 4 hour layover or something in LA. I go right to the bar and keep on drinking,
Nice.
drinking, drinking, drinking. Get on the plane to go from LA to Ohio, drinking some more on the plane. I got off the plane. My mom, who hasn't seen me in a year, or 6 months or whatever it was, she's all thrilled to see me and whatever. And I come staggering off the plane. I mean, I was just wrecked. And she was just like, oh, she was like so deflated that I was, here she was to pick up her baby. And here I
Yeah.
was just annihilated drunk.
You smell like a brewery, son.
Oh, I was just, drunk off my ass, giggling.
Yeah.
The drunk giggle laugh where
Yeah.
you did something you're not supposed to do. And the worst part is I came back in the States. I wasn't even legal in the States to drink. I was only like 19 years old or so, 18, 19, something like
Well,
that.
wasn't that still when low beer and high beer was still a thing?
No,
No?
no, but I was able to drink. I was able to drink on the Korean flight because they don't have the same age thing.
Right.
And then when I got to LA, I probably smelled like booze, so they just served me booze. I don't know
I
why they served me booze. Plus, I was in military uniform and all that other shit. So
do you remember in Ohio that they had the 2-tier beer that if you
I
were
do.
18 you could drink the what was it, 5 beer or the 3-2 beer or
Yeah, the
whatever?
3-2. I remember the 3-2.
Yeah, well, what were the 2 beers? One was the low beer and the other one was the high beer, and if you were 18, you could drink the low beer,
Yeah, I
but
think the
then
low wasn't the low beer the 3-2, and the high beer was just beer.
yeah, well, what is beer as far as the alcohol content?
I don't know. No idea.
But yeah,
Not
so
3-2. I don't know.
but, if you were 18, you could drink the low beer. So when a lot of I didn't drink at all, I didn't even have my first drink until I was, like, 26, but
Right.
when some of my friends from high school, when they turned 18, they just could not wait to go to Parasons to
Sure. Pearson's.
go have some beers.
Yeah. It's about 5% is a
Oh,
is
that's
a
what I
real
said, it
beer.
was 5, yeah.
Yeah, and 3-2 was the low beer.
Right.
Yeah. Parasons, dude. I went to Parasons. You're gonna laugh. I went to Parasons about 3 years ago and had lunch with my daughter. Me and my daughter, we were out that way, and I was like,
Where
I
where
saw that.
which Parasons did you go to?
The what is that on 59 or whatever there in Kent, Ravenna, wherever that is.
Well, the one I used to go to was up on Waterloo Road and
Might
Arlington
have
Road.
been in Kent,
No, it's in Akron.
in Akron. No, that
Well,
this
they
was
they had
in.
a couple of places around
Yeah.
town, and that was the main one up on Waterloo Road in Arlington Road.
Okay. Yeah, I think this was the one in Kent or Stowe or whatever it was called. But I just happened to be out there and I saw Parasons and I swung in there and it was still pretty good. I ain't gonna
Do
lie. I thought
do
it
you
would be all different and
do
not.
you remember the big scandal of Tony Parasons?
No,
Look that up real quick. He died in a car wreck, and he had a hooker with him.
really.
Yeah, I remember it was a big scandal that he had a car wreck and died, and he had some chick with him, and he was a married guy and everything, and he had some chick with him.
Mm,
I think
Clippings
his name
from
was Tony Parason.
yeah, I'm
I'm pretty sure.
looking. Anthony George Perry. I'm seeing
Yeah,
like funeral stuff, but
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
nothing about that he died with a whore.
yeah. Well, that was the big scandal.
Yeah, I don't see that. I just see that he died.
Yeah,
Owner of Parasons.
right.
Oh, good on him. He was just sampling the fish.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah, but I remember what a big big deal that was. That happened that happened like 80, what was it? 8 what does it show a date? It was like 82 or 83 or something like
When he
that.
died?
Yeah, it was 80 something.
Well, let's see. I gotta pull it back up.
86?
Um, dies in a car crash. Parasons dies in a from February 21st, 1982.
82.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that like it happened yesterday because we were of age to go to Parasons,
Right.
to go. My friends would always get the carafes of beer,
Sure.
and we would go, have their pizza because it was really inexpensive to eat there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a hangout. And then I remember when Tony Parasons got killed in a car wreck, and the big scandal was he had a hooker in the car with him.
Yeah. Probably crashed his car from getting his joint blown while he was driving.
That could have been the case.
Yeah. She was sampling the sausage.
Yeah, she was waiting for some of that fettuccine
Yeah.
Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
She was
She was just
she was draining him of his Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, she wasn't sucking his dick. She was just food testing.
Jeez. So those of you who are listening to the show in other parts of the country, you have no frame of reference what we're
Yeah.
talking about, but who gives a shit? I
Yeah.
know
If you don't,
Jack, I'm sure Jackal knows what we're talking about, and
of
Demon
course.
may know what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Hey, and if you don't know what we're talking about, there's always It's Too Late with Alan Mosley for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That show's just waiting for new fans.
So
You
funny.
send in your questions about toothpaste and shit.
Right. Or getting your joint blown
Yeah.
and getting into a wreck.
No, that qualifies as a CMS type question.
Right.
We'll take those emails.
Sure.
We don't want the which end of the toothpaste do you squeeze questions. Thank you.
So, oh
Tony
man.
Parison.
Yeah. What is going on with Mark Striegel?
What do you mean?
Henry Lee Summer put a picture of Striegel in the chat room.
Oh,
He's just
I
got
don't
some
know.
kind of he's got a weird look about him.
That's that Sirius XM DJ Mark Striegel.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's sick or anything.
No, it just I don't know. It just an oddball, but odd look. I don't know what it is. Kind of reminds me of Fargo when they said, "Oh, he's kind of funny looking."
He looks like every 30-year-old guy in the 70s TV shows.
Is that what it is?
Look at him. He looks like he would be one of those guys in every one of them shows. That's like 35 going on like 60. He's got like an older young look.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to keep his look modern, but he's old, so it doesn't work.
Yeah. Strange.
I don't know. Whatever. Hey, good for him. I see he's getting some day shifts on Sirius XM, so good for him. I'll never hear them, but good for him.
Some pre-recorded shit.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just saw Emily posted his schedule, and he was like on Monday and Tuesday at like noon or something.
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee you it's not live.
Yeah, probably not.
Just recording his breaks in between.
Yeah, well, gotta leave something for Eddie Trunk to do.
Do they have any aside from like talk shows like Mark Levin or something? Not that you would know, but do they have any live shows on Sirius anymore, or Howard Stern or something like that?
They have Trunk,
Yeah,
Howard Stern,
yeah.
um,
Now the music
Jim and
channels,
Sam.
the music channels, those are not live. Those are all
No.
pre-records.
Yeah, Jim and Sam.
Yeah, that's another talk show though. I'm talking about like any kind of like a real DJ type show.
Oh, I have no, dude. I haven't listened to that part of Sirius XM since my O&A days. It's been years since I listened to that. Who would listen to that?
An ex of mine would listen to that because I bought it for her car for a year, and she would listen to the 80s channel or whatever that was. And
Yeah.
there's a channel on there that all the old MTV DJs they host, and they just do their, they have they just do the talk ups to the songs, which are like 30-second breaks. But
Right.
you can tell they're, of course they're all totally pre-recorded 30-second breaks.
Sure. Hey, that was Judas Priest with You've Got Another Thing Coming, and they've got another thing coming, another tour, that is. They're going to be out on the road with Iron Maiden. Yeah. Speaking of Iron Maiden, they have a new record as well called Senjutsu, and here's a song from that. It's The Writing on the Wall.
Exactly.
Right here on Sirius XM Octane.
I could not imagine doing that every day.
Ugh, yeah.
I mean, that would just get so monotonous.
That would just be money gig.
Just do a talk up to a song, come out of a break, do a talk up to a song, go into the next song, come out of the song, go into another. I couldn't do that.
I could for a check as long as I could do it at home. If I had to go in to do it, no fucking way.
Yeah, but I mean, could you imagine doing that live?
Oh, no.
It's just boring.
Dude, when we used to have the whatchamacallit, what do you call those guys that come in and evaluate?
Oh,
The
the consultants?
consultants. When
Yeah,
the consultants would come in to evaluate us, at 92.3,
yeah.
man, we used to have to sit around in a room, sit around around a table, and the consultant would go, "Okay, Nirvana, come as you are, go." And we all had to give a talk up like on the fly.
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm not. It
Oh
was
my god, dude.
dude, and mine was the Nirvana, come as you are, and and I went with I forget what I did. I did something like you need to hear this song again like you need a hole in your head, like Kurt Cobain. It's Nirvana. Come as I did something like that. Fucking Kim Monroe, our program director, was horrified with
Of
me
course.
because this was like the consultant
Yeah,
from
and he
New
has to go
York
back,
or
yeah, he
whatever.
goes back to the corporate headquarters to make his
Yeah,
report and go,
yeah,
"Well, there was this guy," and,
yeah.
I could just imagine.
Oh, but you know what? I'll be fair to that guy. He loved it.
Yeah,
He
well,
thought it was hilarious.
you weren't one of those DJ though.
No, well,
Yeah,
no, but I still had to attend the
I know,
meetings.
I understand that, but my point is maybe he thought it was funny because you didn't count
Yeah, it could have been.
as really the air staff that did that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I will tell you when my whole perception of broadcast radio was destroyed.
Okay.
When I was in broadcasting school, I went to the Ohio Center for Broadcasting over there in
Mhm.
Independence.
Yeah.
So right down the street, what is the name of that building with the green neon lights around the top?
Oh, god damn it. It's like the Ford building or something, but I know
Yeah,
that's not
something
it.
like that. But that's where all the radio stations are hosted, or they're
Oh, Oak Tree.
yeah,
Oak Tree Boulevard. Yeah,
yeah.
The Oak Tree complex.
So when all the radio stations got all bought up by Clear
Yeah.
Channel or whatever, they put all of the studios all in one building
Mhm.
in Independence, Ohio.
Mhm.
And so, when I was in broadcasting school, we were taking the field trip literally a quarter mile down the road from the broadcasting
Sure,
school
wow.
to go to the real radio stations.
Sure.
And who was WGAR was in there, and
Yeah, all the Clear Channel stuff.
yeah, all the Clear Channel.
MMS,
Yeah,
not the
exactly.
Kiss FM.
Was MMS in there?
Oh, yeah.
What was the one down in with the one that I used to come to?
That was before the move. That was
Okay, before.
MMS was in the Terminal Tower or Tower
Yeah, yeah,
City,
yeah, yeah.
and
Go
but
ahead.
then we moved over to Oak Tree.
Okay, well, this was before MMS was there
Okay.
because I didn't know you then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we went there to do the little tour of the studios and shit.
Sure.
So we went into one of the studios when the live DJ, I think it was WGAR,
Okay.
the live DJ was doing his air shift, and we walked in there, and he had a little plastic basket sitting up on the console, and it literally had um recipe cards in there.
Oh, yeah.
And when he did his break, he would reach into the basket and get his little recipe card out, and he would read his break off of
Mhm.
the recipe card.
Right.
And that's what he did. And I was just like, I thought you guys were like hired because you guys had some kind of air talent. And again, this is where my whole perception got blown.
Sure.
And I was just like, you got to be shitting me. And that's when I decided I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be this guy who picks a card out of a recipe box and reads it,
Right.
And then of course, when we went back to the school and we were discussing protocol and all this bullshit, one of the one of the commandments was stick to the script. So you don't go rogue. You don't
No.
say anything outside of that.
No, of course not.
You just read the card, and
Mhm.
you read it as if you're saying it yourself.
Yeah.
You don't just, phonetically read it. You go, "Hey, and that was blah, 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 da, da, da," and so
Mm.
on and so forth. You read this card and you go, "Hey, coming up next, we got a, something or
Mm.
another," and I was just like, "Holy shit, this is boring."
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, dude, the whole fake enthusiasm card, like, we used to have to cut commercials, and we used to have to I usually did them because Matt was never available, and I was well, I told you this before. They knew I worked in the same
Yeah,
building
yeah,
as
yeah,
92.3.
would you work for Broadcom or something in that building?
Broadvox, yeah, a
Broadband?
telephone company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was in the same building as 92 was.
Right,
And Kim, our program director, knew that. So anytime there was any kind of bullshit that had to be done,
right.
she would call me and she'd be like, "Hey, why don't you come over here? I'll buy you lunch." And I always knew that that meant I was going to work.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna go did you get paid to do that, or that was just,
No.
"I'll buy you lunch if you come in here and knock
Yeah.
these liners out"?
Yeah, that was what I mean, I could have probably pressed it, but you know, I could have waved my contract around, I guess, and
But it was a fun thing, though. It
I
was
didn't
supposed to
care.
be a fun thing. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit,
Well,
and I
it
didn't
wasn't
wanna make
it
any
wasn't your
waves.
main gig, but you
Yeah.
just wanted to stay in the good graces to be able to stay
Mhm.
on the air and just,
Yeah.
do what you did, right?
Sure, and in fairness to Kim, she really let me do whatever I wanted to do.
Sure, sure.
She never gave me shit, and by that token, I never gave her any shit. She wanted
Right.
me to come over and cut liners or
It was
whatever.
a quid pro quo, man.
Yeah, it was, but man, the liners were just painful. I'd be first of all, the production studio that we had over there
Yeah,
that serviced both, well, 3 stations. It serviced whatever was in the front. I don't remember what was in the front studio. But then there was our studio, and then there was 98.5 in the back studio. So
okay.
you had 3 studios in that building, and then you had a production room that literally was about a quarter the size of my office here.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it
it's
was
just
tiny.
it's a little sound booth.
Yeah, it was barely more than a sound. It had a soundboard in it, and it had a mic, and sometimes they would want us to do interviews and bring the guests in there to pre-record the interviews in that little room. It was ridiculous how
Yes,
small it was. So
sure.
she'd bring me over and she'd be like, "Okay, I need you to do these 3 spots."
Right.
And I'm like, "Okay, fine." And I would do them, and you know, she'd be like, "Okay, make sure you make it sound like you do on the air, like you're having fun." I was like,
Yeah, and
Okay."
it's spontaneous and it's
Yeah.
off the top of your head, but stick to the script.
Yeah. Well, they didn't they never gave me scripts as much as bullet points. They just were
Right.
like bullet point, and it would be like some show. It'd be like, "Hey, 92.3 is gonna be presenting Corn over at the Wolstein Center. Corn, who's famous for their album Got the Life, blah, blah, blah,"
Followed by
whatever. Yeah, and I would just get in there and I would just be riffing.
sure, of
I'd
course.
I'd be like, "You know where I'm gonna be next Saturday at 8 o'clock? Well, I'm gonna be at the Corn Show at the
Hope to
Wolstein
see you
Theater.
there.
Make sure you get there early because Chevelle's going on first, and you don't wanna miss that. I know I don't."
Yep.
You know? Oh.
That is the hot new band out of Nova Scotia, Canada, coming down here to play with Corn.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
If
it
you like
was
doom rock, if you like the rock of, whatever, you're
yeah,
gonna love Chevelle.
yeah, oh, it was just brutal, just come in and do and meanwhile, half the time that we would be announcing shows, the shows would be happening the same night that our show was on. So I'd be doing these liners, I wouldn't have any idea when the show was.
Yeah, so
I
you'd be
would
saying you're gonna be there, but you're
yeah,
actually gonna be live in your studio doing
yeah,
that metal show or the
exactly.
metal show, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be like, "Yeah, the show is on, February 23rd," and then February 23rd would be a Sunday, and I'd be not at that show, you know? It was so goofy, but I didn't mind. I mean, that part of it, I didn't mind. What drove me nuts about commercial radio was near the end after the Janet Jackson thing, everything fucking changed.
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god, it got
Well,
to be
it got suckier than it already was.
it was for me personally, it was so overwhelming.
Of
Just
course.
just, you know, first they started picking apart the show, which I wasn't having, I mean, one of the reasons we went to 93 or 92.3 and I took less money, we took less money to have our show where we had 100% creative freedom on the show. We were offered more than we took. But I wasn't willing to give up, like they wanted the show name and they wanted input into the content.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And I was like,
it's everything that we're against with this
yeah.
show.
Well, I was always against it because MMS did that to
Well,
us.
yeah, and I get it, but my point is the reason we do what we do here and
Yeah.
we're not a commercial sponsored show is because
Mhm.
of that.
Yeah. Because it blows.
It
You
does,
know,
it
there
sucks.
there's nothing worse than you go in to do a show, and I mean, people that are not from here don't remember, or people that aren't old don't remember, but the metal show was pretty off the cuff. It was like raunchy a little bit and wild a little bit, and
Well,
it wasn't like this,
it was
but
a Sunday night.
yeah,
And it was off hours per
yeah,
se, and
mhm,
only the hardcores who get that shit would be tuning in. It isn't
right.
like it isn't a passerby show. It isn't
No,
somebody that is driving their children to grade school in a minivan.
right, right.
It's the hardcore metal guys who would tune
Mhm.
in, and again, another male dominated,
Oh, yeah. Dude, we
you
had no
know?
chicks that listened to that show, but
Of course not.
But the thing was when we were at MMS, and this used to make me crazy, I would come in to do the show. I'd be all pumped up and there was a lot of work that went into the show. Like Matt and I what we used to do is each guy would submit 11 songs and then Matt would play them and then we would, then we'd play our songs. Well, we had to edit all the songs because the station didn't do that. They weren't playing Sepultura. They weren't playing heavy stuff. So
Right.
I had to take every single song, open it in WaveLab, listen to it without any interruption so I didn't miss any fucks or whatever, and go through and flip either flip it or beep it or whatever I was going to do to make it playable for the station. And you know me, I was not going to just say, "Oh, I won't play it because it has a cuss word in it." I took the extra time to do it. So it took me hours to do my 11 songs every week.
Sure.
So I would do all this work and then I would get there for the show. And then Matt would tell me 5 minutes before the show was to go on. He'd be like, "Oh, by the way, we're going to have a call in from
David Draymond.
band Bob. No, I wish David Draymond would have been fine
He did
from,
call it.
well, he called it. I mean, yeah, I mean, we brought him in. We booked
Yeah.
him in at
Well
one
well,
point, but
I was in the studio one night when he called in.
yeah, I mean, we had,
Down with the sickness.
yeah, I mean, that was one thing. I'm talking about local band X that the Peabodys had playing next Friday.
Alright, and they wanted a little promotion, huh?
Yeah, well, they wanted a second. They wanted like 20 minutes.
Okay.
They wanted us to do
20
two
minutes
bits.
for your show was a big deal because
Yeah,
your show your guys' talk segments were literally 2
yeah,
to
6 minutes.
3
No,
minutes
we
or
we did a
what.
little longer than that. We did about 6 minute talk.
Yeah.
We would do just a two 6 minute talks every half hour.
Yeah, so having a band in for 20 minutes was
Oh,
3 6-minute segments.
yeah, it just sucked. And it would be local band, and let's be honest, nothing against local bands. I'm all for anybody trying to make music and trying to do it. But most of the bands that would come through didn't have shit going on. They'd never done anything. They'd never played anywhere. They thought that they were on tour when they played Akron one week and Pittsburgh one week and then
Right.
Cleveland the next week.
They were
They
on the North Coast tour with,
Yeah.
Michael Stanley.
Yeah, well, they'd have T-shirts that said North Coast Tour.
Right, it was the light of day. It was,
Yeah,
Joan Jett and Michael J. Fox. They were playing Euclid Tavern
yeah,
one week, and then they were
right.
playing at the, Akron and the Youngstown Agora the next week.
Yeah. Dude, don't you
And they were
remember the
playing in
liquor
Mansfield. They were playing in Mansfield.
don't you remember the liquor and sticker T-shirts? The liquor and
Yes, of
sticker
course.
world tours?
I still have mine.
Yeah, I mean, and it had tour dates on it.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of that, real quick, side note, did I tell you that Roger died?
Yes, you
Okay.
sent me his, thing, yeah.
Okay. I didn't remember if I told you.
Died of the coof.
He died of the vid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if he was vaccinated. Shut up.
No,
But no.
well, according to the article I read,
Mm.
he was not vaccinated, but if
Oh,
Roger was still here today, he
mhm.
would have said, "Get vaccinated." That's what his
That's
family
right.
said he would have said. And
That's
the
right.
interesting thing is that Roger was in the medical profession
No.
when he passed away.
Well, janitors don't necessarily have medical knowledge.
Yeah, I saw that picture of him, and I was just like, "Holy shit." Of
Yeah.
course, I haven't seen him in 30 years, but,
Right.
you know, and I was looking at this, and this is that the same guy that I knew
Yeah.
30 years ago?
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked him out if he was standing right next to
No,
me.
I wouldn't have either, but, regardless of that, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be the deal at MMS was we would go in and they would just pull the rug out on us last fucking segment, last second. And it just sucked.
Yeah.
And it and then and then it got even worse after Janet Jackson cuz after the Janet Jackson thing, every week we would get a handful of paperwork. Every fucking week. It'd be like, "Okay, these are the words that are now on the no-no list," and it was always called the no-no list.
The bad word list.
No, it was called the no I'm
Yeah, yeah,
literally called the no-no list, which, what are we, 10?
yeah.
We got the no-no list, and every week it was something different, and I mean, I just wouldn't abide by it. I just was like, "Nah, I'm doing what I do," and so Matt would dump out on me, and I would get furious with Matt. I'd be like, "Dude, come on, you know, let it flow. It's not a finable thing. It was a station thing." And my thing was, we didn't have to answer to the station because we had creative control. If it was an FCC thing, that would have been one thing, but we didn't have to answer to the station because we had creative control. And Matt just didn't want to deal with that. He was like, no, no, I don't want the problem. I don't want the problem. I was like, all right, fine. So he's dumping out on me. Then I'm getting pissed off. So then I'm dropping F bombs just to really fucking get at him. Then we were, I can't tell you how many times we ran out of dump where Matt would have to go and play a song. The infamous Van Halen that's always that the stations always have ready just in case a
Sure.
guest goes crazy. There's always a Van Halen record queued up and ready. And we had to go to it a couple times because I would get mad and I'd be like, fuck, 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 just and Matt would just dump, dump, dump. And then all of a sudden I would hear the replays the next day. And if you hit dump more than 3 times in 30 seconds, it starts to sound like you're underwater.
Right.
The audio that does come out, it's like, it sounds all weird.
Yeah.
So, we would do that. So then we ended up with Jeremy, who was our intern. They put a button where he used to sit. They put a button in so that he had a dump button because they were afraid that Matt running the board and running the callers and everything else that he would miss something. So then they had Jeremy, and his whole job was to listen to me and dump out on me. And it was just bad, man. I was at the end of it. I mean, the final straw, the second to last show I did with them, we got into it because the word douchebag came up on the no-no list. And we were allowed to say douche. I mean, I went to Kim with this, and I was like, or to Nard, who was our PD at the time. And I went to Nard and I said to him, I said, dude, explain this to me. Douchebag. I get it that I can't say that you're inserting a douchebag into some chick's twat. I get that part, but I can't say douchebag. I can't call someone a douchebag. No. Can I say bag? Yes. Can I say douche? Yes. Can I say douche bag with a space? No. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. So then I went right on the air and did it, and then Jeremy dumped out on me like the first time. And I was like, did you dump out on me for saying douchebag? Dumped out again. I said, really? You're going to keep dumping out on me for saying douchebag? I kept doing it. And then finally Matt got all fucking mad and went to song. And, was yelling at me. And then, then 1 week later, I get us fired for going after Talking Metal on this show.
Right.
And and honestly, and you remember that, dude. I was not upset. I was mad that I got Matt fired. I wasn't mad that I got me fired. I was happy to get off of commercial radio at that point because I was miserable. Yeah, bad word. I remember that with KEIF.
Yeah.
That was another guy. Boy, talk about guys that hated me in radio. That guy hated me. Remember him? What was that guy's name? Mike Andrews, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He was the afternoon guy.
Yeah. Hated me, hated our show, hated that we were getting numbers on his station.
Yep.
Hated that I didn't like the Sister Bertha Bangers bit. Hated that we trashed that. Hated that we would go on our... Dude, do you remember this? I know we're just memory laning a little bit here, but
it's fun. People always ask about a little bit of the history of the show. So yeah, it's fun.
Do you remember us the first week that we were on the Rocket and we pretended like we had flown in?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were flying in every week to do the show live on the air.
Right. And I had gotten with Scott and gotten like 2 or 3 like events that were going on.
Yeah, so you acted as if you were live there in town.
Yeah. And literally me and you were just riffing. We were like, yeah, I didn't see you out at Bill's Tire for the hot dog cook-off. Neeley, where were you at? You were like, oh, I was at Joe's bar.
We were doing the Opie and Anthony. Keep it local.
Yeah,
we were local. Local radio. Make sure you mention local stuff.
Yeah, and we were just riffing like we were there.
Yeah, we were goofing on all that stuff.
And we just kept riffing and saying the guys' names. We're like, yeah, you know who I saw here? Anita. Anita was here at the barbecue. That was some fun times.
I know. And the thing is and one of the things I remember looking up is I looked up Enid, Oklahoma, and I looked at some of the street names and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, I was down there on Maple Avenue at the corner of blah, blah, blah. And I saw, old Bill Johnson. Remember him? He used to run that tavern down there at, blah, blah, blah,
Right. We were just pretending like we had been there our whole lives.
Acted like we're citizens of the area or something.
That was so much fun, dude. That shit was funny, man.
It was funny.
That was all. I enjoyed our Enid, Oklahoma time. I really did.
Rocket radio.
The Rocket. 104.7, the Rocket.
For some reason, Scott found us entertaining, but the other, DJs on that station, they did not like us at all.
They hate it because we were actually getting traction.
I know, but see, again, we were the Opie and Anthony being syndicated on their station. It's like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because Scott used to call me. Scott would call me up and he would say, hey man, so-and-so's gonna be playing the Beach Boys or something at 2:00, 2 to 3.
Right.
Would you do a call in?
Yeah.
So we can cross promote. And I was like, sure. I was always willing to do it. And then we would call it. It was that Mike guy that hated me.
Yeah, he didn't like you.
He hated me. And the Beach Boys one, I remember he was doing all Beach Boys. And I requested the one song that Charlie Manson
wrote. That Charlie Manson wrote. Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not going to play that song.
Yeah. And I think he called you out for saying freaking on the air or something.
Yeah, he
like
did.
That.
He did for saying freaking.
You said that's something, you said something like that's freaking ridiculous or something. He goes,
yeah.
Freaking, what kind of language is that to be using on the air or some shit like that?
Yeah, he was scolding me. He was the elder statesman.
Yeah. Freaking.
Yeah, I said freaking.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was fun though, dude.
Yeah, but Scott, was really good about playing along with our goof.
Oh yeah.
And he hooked us up with Tommy Two-Tone.
That was funny. Yeah.
That was the funniest shit, man. Having that Tommy Two-Tone on the show, just calling in randomly like that.
Dude, that is one of those MP3s that I just want to get that whole show from you. because that literally, the Tommy Two-Tone segment was hilarious. That me just destroying that
The Birth
comic.
of Bangers.
No, not Bertha, but the one before Bertha
Oh, yeah,
Bangers.
he thought he was really funny, and it
Yeah.
just, "Yeah, okay, what else you got?"
And I melted his face. I just fucking power slammed. And then the Bertha Bangers on top of that, that was the all-time. That's to me, that's one of the top 3 funniest things that's ever happened on the
Because
Classic Metal
because you
Show.
made it because you made him break character because he
Yeah.
couldn't help but laugh when you said you caught cum in the Pontiff's hat.
Yeah. That shit was hilarious. He goes, "Ah, you got me."
Because he was trying to play that whole thing that he was taking Religitol.
Yeah, but dude, when you listen back to that segment, everything about that's funny. Do you guys take Religitol? Yes. I would give him the exact opposite answer that he wanted, so he couldn't go into his
Yeah,
show.
so he couldn't expand anymore.
Have you heard our song? No. And remember at some point I said to him, I said, "Is this the part where I laugh?" And then you played the laugh effect.
Yeah, that was just weird.
That was
And the
so
whole
fun.
weird thing is that's when we got familiar with the Snake Man,
Yeah.
and the Snake Man had made some comment that he found Tommy Two-Tone's wallet or something at the
Right.
Rainbow or some shit like that.
Mhm.
And then strangely enough, like a week or 2 later, we had actually Tommy Two-Tone on the
Yeah.
show and said, "Hey, do you know the Snake Man?"
I know I mean, that was the whole reason we interviewed Tommy
I
Two-Tone.
know, that was just the weirdest fucking coincidence
Yeah.
that Snake Man told us that story, and then we actually had Tommy Two-Tone on
Yeah.
unexpectedly, and it
Right.
gave us an opportunity to ask him that question.
Right. Dude, wasn't that the same night? I think this was the same night too. Another great segment that came out of that exact show. Wasn't that the night since we were interviewing Tommy Two-Tone that we went all around the country just dialing different 867
We
5309s?
did, we did.
That's a funny fucking segment too. I think we dialed like 15 different
Yeah,
867
we just
5309s.
dialed them in different area codes and stuff.
Yeah, we just found a new area code and dialed it, and the one that always cracked me up was the guy that goes, "Jenny's not here." But yeah, dude, that one episode was one of the best episodes of the
It
CMS
well,
ever.
because it was just spontaneous and off the cuff.
Yeah, so good.
Because we didn't know Scott was they were having
It's like a
some kind of a live
yeah, it
event
was like
sponsored
a
by
town fair or something,
yeah,
and Tommy Two-Tone was the highlight.
and he called in and he goes, "Hey, you guys wanna talk to Tommy Two-Tone?" And we're just like, "Yeah, put him on."
Yeah, hell yes.
It was just the weirdest coincidence.
Yeah, and we're riffing about Tommy Two. Neither one of us knew anything about Tommy Two-Tone. I mean, nothing. I
Yeah,
didn't know, dude. Even today, I've now interviewed Tommy Two-Tone. I can't name one album.
I
Can you
couldn't
name
either.
an album?
No, of course not.
I know one song. I can't even name 2 songs.
Well, that's what
What's
he's known for is 8675309.
yeah, he doesn't have another song as far as I
No,
know.
he's the quintessential one-hit wonder.
Yeah, he's the all-time one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Literally, and but we talked to him.
Yeah, because he's Mr. 86753. He's the guy
Yeah, he
because when that song came out, everybody was dialing that number,
yeah,
and that was just sort of a goofy thing because it was just like, "Oh, hey, dial that number. Is Jenny there?"
yeah. It's Jenny there.
It was just freaking weird, man.
Yeah, it was. Too
But
good, man.
but that was that was, again, the power of MTV. Everybody was
Mhm.
just like, "Oh, hey, there's Jenny. Oh, yeah, let's
Yeah.
call Jenny. Let's dial that number," you know?
Mhm. Do you think you could pick out Tommy Two-Tone if you saw him? Like,
No,
if you
of
walked
course
right by him?
no, of course not.
I don't either. Do you think you could pick out I'm just trying to think of other guys that were, like, big. Could you pick out the singer from Men at Work?
I could if I could see his eye because he's got that weird eye.
But if he's
That
wearing sunglasses,
yeah,
forget it.
that Colin Hay.
Yeah, Colin Hay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think who. There was a lot of those bands. Could you pick out any member of A Flock of Seagulls?
Well, we saw that guy from
Yeah,
Flock of Seagulls. We played that video a few weeks ago,
right. And I didn't
and boy,
recognize him.
we all looked at him like, "Well, who the fuck is that?"
Yeah, we weren't even sure it was the real Flock guy.
I know. He just kind of a fat, bald guy.
Yeah. What about a Thompson twin?
Are they even I think one of the members died or something.
Let's look that up. I don't even know.
But they had that weird extreme hair, which I'm sure they would never have now. So
Yeah.
so you would only know them if you saw the weird extreme hair.
Let's see.
But it was a guy and a girl, right?
There's two guys and a girl. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't recognize her. Jesus. You might recognize her if she taught at your school.
Of course.
Let's see. Share screen. Here is Thompson twin girl. I have no idea what her name is.
Yeah, you wouldn't know her.
Would not know her. All right.
Well, she grew her hair out so you can't see that awful tattoo on the side of her head anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there she is. Oh, here's this guy. All right. This is one of the This is the Thompson twin. This is Tom Bailey of the Thompson twins.
Okay.
Let's pull him up. Yeah, you would never know these guys.
Well, why would you?
Because they were on MTV like every 30
know,
seconds.
But that was 40 years ago.
Yeah, but we watched.
Yeah, I know, but again, like I said, you kind of knew them for their look, their extreme look.
Sure.
But he just kind of looks like a wood shop worker.
No.
He looks like he teaches shop class at the local high school.
Exactly. Yeah. Would you recognize Fred Schneider?
Oh, right, said Fred. Oh,
no,
that guy.
B-52s.
Oh, yeah.
The Love Shack Baby.
Yeah, that guy. The gay dude.
I think I would recognize this guy. I'm looking at his picture. I think I'd recognize him now. Eyes are quite bloodshot. Yeah, I think this guy recognizable even today. He really looks kind of the same. Interesting.
So he maintained his look.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even. I mean, he looks older, but he doesn't look like he's 100. Other than these eyes that look like he's been drinking for.
He hasn't been, but he didn't let himself go.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, you could see that gay look on his face.
Yeah. Well, there's been a cock in there, but
at least.
But I mean,
what is with the gays and always pursing the lips?
Trying to prove that there's not always a dick in it.
Ugh.
I don't know, but what's with his eyes?
Yeah, they're pretty bloodshot.
Yeah, he's coming off a 3-day bender. I don't care what anybody says, though. The Love Shack is like the greatest song from the 80s. That's my jam, man. Really? The Love Shack, baby.
What's that chick's name? This chick singer?
Kate Pearson.
Yeah, she was always sexy. I always liked her. She was just always, small and curvy and sexy.
Let's see what she's doing.
She just has she just had a very, just kind of a sexy look about her all the time.
Still got the big old cans. Let's see. Open image. Let's get you on the screen, Kate Pearson. Share opera. What the fuck? Oh, there it is.
She's a little thick now.
Oh, she is 80 or whatever.
She's 80.
I don't know how old is she? Kate Pearson.
She's in her 70s, I'm pretty sure. I think she's 70 something.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, Kate Pearson. 73.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So she put on a couple pounds, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'd still do her.
why not? You'd have to fucking invest in lube to get down there, but once you got there, it'd be fine. Dude, you want to feel really fucking old?
Yeah, sure.
So for whatever reason, just because I'm a faggot, I guess.
Okay.
I'm watching the Golden Girls right now.
Oh, really?
I'm just watching it. It's funny. It
Okay.
actually is funny.
Okay.
The Golden Girls, how old do you think that they're supposed to be?
40s, 50s.
50s. They're our age.
Yeah.
Literally a couple times B. Arthur says, I'm 54 years old.
Okay.
And I'm like,
you look
how
like
is
you're
that?
80.
She looked like she's 85 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but there's no way on any planet was anybody ever saying, man, I got to get into Rue McClanahan's pants. That is an ugly woman.
Yeah.
There was no, and dude, they had one episode. This is how dorky my life is. I'm watching this. They have an episode. They have a guy that's a bodybuilder that's like 25 years old.
Okay.
Hitting on Blanche.
Okay.
And taking Blanche to dinner to bang her. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, she's like 40 years older than this dude.
Right.
This guy's like 22 or whatever. And it was funny because he's wearing like the Don Johnson clothes.
Sure.
So he's wearing the Don Johnson clothes.
And the tank top underneath.
Yeah. And she's wearing some kind of dress that has that, I don't know what you even call that. It's like a frill that's over the front. Looks like it's from Little House on the Prairie or some shit. And I'm like, there's no, who was writing this show that looked at that and said, yeah, this makes sense. This will be a good plot. Nobody will question it.
Right.
But yeah, all the Golden Girls, it's another show. I never realized how dirty that show was. They're constantly talking about getting dick.
Yeah. 4 dirty old ladies.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, three and Betty White.
Well, dude, I thought the who was it?
The grandmother?
No,
Estelle Getty?
Yeah, Estelle. She was supposed to be older than the rest of them, even though she was the same age in real life.
Yeah, she was the same age in real life, but they put her as like she was like 80 or whatever.
Yeah, well, she was what's her name's mother?
B. Arthur's.
Yeah, B. Arthur's mother. Yeah.
Yeah, Dorothy. Yeah, she was B. Arthur's mother, but yeah, even she was talking about back in the day when she was fucking the guy that made the pizzas in town and shit like that. You know, I mean, she was talking about getting some dick.
Sure.
And they can't stop Blanche from finding cock. You know, cock falls into her pussy.
Well, again, it goes back to that whole thing about, no matter what you look like or how old or whatever, if you got a pussy, you're going to get a dick.
Oh yeah. Somebody will slide right in.
If you want one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she just the way they kept playing up that fucking Rue McClanahan as hot.
Well, she was the whore though, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it wasn't because she was physically attractive. She had the attitude, right?
Yeah. Well, they tried to make it though like she was hot.
Yeah. Well, she was the sex pot.
Yeah. When really the only one in that bunch that was remotely bangable was fucking Betty White. They had one episode where they were dancing, Betty White and Blanche. And Betty White's legs look pretty good for a fucking old grandmother.
For an old lady.
Yeah, I was like, look at that. It's pretty solid.
Look at you have a Betty White fantasy.
Oh yeah, I'm just rubbing one out to Betty White, you know.
I think I may have seen like 3 episodes of that show total.
Yeah, I mean it's not great, but it's not. It's okay. It's passable.
Well, after you're done with Golden Girls, you'll be moving on to Designing Women.
Yeah, no, I won't be.
Yes, you will.
No, I won't because
you know what? I'm watching Designing Women, and you know that Annie Potts, she's actually
Annie Potts was hot. Annie Potts was hot.
See?
I'll give you that Annie Potts was hot, but
Hey, I never realized Annie Potts is on Designing Women. I always had a thing for her. I'm gonna give this show a whirl. Hey,
Annie
this is
Potts,
pretty good.
Annie Potts pretty hot, but no, I'll tell you why I will never watch that show
Delta
because
Burke, she's
no,
a little bit thicker, but boy,
no,
I bet you she could bang pretty good.
no, I'll bet you she can't. She can bang into a refrigerator.
Dixie Carter, she was a little older, but you know what? She probably could suck a mean
Yeah,
dick.
no, that show never did nothing for me, and especially what's her name? The one that you just said,
Delta Burke, Dixie Carter,
Delta Burke.
yeah.
Delta Burke was horrible, horrible.
She was the token fat chick.
Well, and then they had a spinoff on that show. I don't know if you know this, dude. This is so embarrassing. Fucking Razor Fist of all people just hammered me for knowing this. Fucking he put up something about he made a Delta Burke comment,
Yeah,
and I made some comment back about hey, that wasn't her last acting gig. Her last acting gig was the spinoff called Woman of the House, which was after her husband died. Then she took over like as a congresswoman or something for her
really?
husband.
I wouldn't even
Yeah.
know that.
It's with her and Patricia Heaton from Everybody Loves Raymond, the wife
Okay,
on Everybody Loves Raymond.
all right.
And sadly, I knew this and I posted this on whatever, and fucking Razor Fist couldn't wait a second to just be like, "What's the matter with you, faggot?" You know. but yeah, Delta Burke just was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, she was. I remember seeing her on a lot of these, being interviewed all the time for some
Right.
reason. I don't remember Vicki Lawrence was attractive.
No.
Well, Mama's Family,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Carol Burnett show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's talking about Mama's Family,
Uh,
which I did like Mama's Family, but I never found any hotness in that show.
with Ken Berry.
Ken Berry, he's dead.
Yep, they're all dead.
Is Vicki Lawrence dead?
I have no idea. I don't think she is, but boy, I see old Lou Grant died.
Did he?
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah.
died. Yeah, it's another celebrity
Yeah,
that
well,
died. We didn't mention earlier tonight.
Vicki Lawrence alive.
Yeah, old Ed Asner passed away too.
Yeah, well, whatever. That guy held on to a career that just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, well, regardless, but that's another famous person that passed away just in the last week.
Yeah. He was good in Mary Tyler Moore. He was passable in JFK. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. Patricia Heaton is hot. I agree with that. She's pretty hot as a
I
plane
don't I
lady.
don't know who she is.
Patricia Heaton?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know Everybody Loves Raymond. I maybe have seen that's another show I never watched because I just can't take that married couple shit.
Yeah, that show's a little. I mean, it's funny, I guess, it's funny for me when I was married. I don't know that I would enjoy it much now, but
Yeah, the only episode that I could even tell you about was there was an episode about there was a suitcase on the stairs and they were trying to see who was going to break down and take it upstairs first.
okay.
It just caused a big rift between them. Like, why do I have to do it? Why do I have to do it?
Right.
It was the weirdest goddamn thing. Yeah,
Yeah, she's all right.
she's okay.
Yeah.
That is that a current picture?
Um,
Because I remember her being a little thicker on the TV show.
that's her Twitter picture. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that's current.
she must have gotten in shape because when she was on Everybody Loves Raymond, she was kind of like that middle-aged thick chick.
Let's see. Open image, new tab. All right, here she is showing some boobies. Wrong button. Whoops. Push the wrong button. This is why we need staff.
Yeah, we need production staff, man.
There she is, showing a little boobage.
She's got a little boobie there.
Yeah, she
Let's see, she looks a little older in that picture than she does on her Twitter picture.
She bought some tits. Good for her.
Yeah. She's got some tit meat, as Stephanie would say.
Nothing wrong with some tit meat.
Uh-uh.
She's got a lot of tit meat. Look at some of these pictures. Now I'm looking. You got me in my Patricia Heaton mode now. Jesus. Look at Patricia Heaton got some boobs. Share. What's this thing called? 12.
Yeah, she looks pretty good there.
Yeah, for a 60 whatever year old woman.
Is that how old she is?
She's something like that. How old is Patricia Heaton? Patricia Heaton is she's from here, by the way.
She's from Cleveland?
She's from Bay Village, yeah. She's
Bay Village.
63. Her
Really?
dad was Chuck Heaton, the writer guy.
Okay.
The guy from the Plain Dealer.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, she's 63 years young.
How about that?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a gal who keeps it together.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
I
See,
bet you
that's proof positive that, if you keep it together, you can, you could keep a little bit of youthfulness about you.
And then die from COVID anyway.
Keep it together.
Yeah, pal.
Yeah. That's a little work. Gotta work at it. Gotta watch your diet and, not abuse yourself, but you could keep it together if you wanted to.
Nah, pass.
Pass.
Early death is the way.
Is that how it is?
That's the way it is for me.
How's that Leonard Skinner said, live fast and die young and leave a good looking corpse?
That's right. I'm just hopeful that I've spent every penny that I've made going into the death.
Is that right?
I'm hopeful that the last penny that I made pays for is like $10 short for the cremation. I don't want to give any extra. None.
Right.
And I've already told my kids, don't even claim the fucking body.
Right.
Just let them fucking throw it out in the trash. Who cares?
Donate it to science.
Yeah, who cares? Cut it all up. Give it away to a bunch of other people. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. They'll donate it to that place, Tennessee or Georgia, where they do the forensics on it.
Yeah.
Where they leave you in certain situations to understand the decompositions at certain stages. So they, when they have to go identify a body that has been left somewhere, they can tell about at what point that person was deceased.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Forensic study place.
Yeah. But they have all kinds of bodies in different situations, like in the front seat of a car,
sure,
or laying out in the woods, or inside of a house, or something like that, and they just let them naturally decompose.
Yeah.
And then they go do studies on them at certain points to understand, at this point a body looks like this,
right,
and at this point a body looks like this,
yeah.
And that way they understand that if they encounter a body out in the desert or something, they understand, oh, well, this person expired, 11 years ago and 31 days, something like that.
Yeah, I think I saw a movie on that. I think it was called Her Name Was Krista.
Is that what it was? Yeah, shot over in Barberton, Ohio.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Jeez, what a sick movie.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's freaking bizarre.
Yeah, I know him and Drew are out somewhere shooting a new movie right now, so they're putting something together as we speak.
I didn't get the call. He said I could be in the next movie.
Well, maybe the next Ohio movie, because they're somewhere else. They're like I think Drew told me they're in North Carolina or somewhere.
I see.
So
they're down there. The next snowstorm.
Yeah, maybe the next Ohio movie. Oh, I'm telling you, dude, there's plenty of snow here. Plenty.
I believe you.
I mean, there's a lot of snow.
Yeah. Well, what do you care? You don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
You got the DoorDash coming to you. You got Walmart delivering your groceries.
Damn right.
You don't need to go get gas because you don't drive.
No, I don't have anywhere to be.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is the internet going down. Other than that, I really don't give a shit.
That's a fear.
Well, it's a fear of
concern.
inconvenience. It's a fear of inconvenience.
Isn't there didn't Al Gore make a movie called A Fear of Inconvenience?
I think so. The inconvenient truth.
The fear of inconvenience.
That's what it is for me. It's a fear
Yeah,
of inconvenience.
that's the reboot.
I do not want to have to come off of the Roku and actually watch over-the-air TV,
Oh,
Neeley.
no. Oh, no.
I do not want these tragic things, these tragic problems that paupers have.
Yes.
I need to be able to watch on demand.
These are first world problems you're
Mhm. It's one of the reasons I upgraded my phone so that I could 5G from my phone if there ever is an internet outage.
right. You
I
can
can
do
use
a
my
hot you're a hotspot junkie.
I will be a hotspot junkie. Because if I ever don't have internet, I will be plugging my phone up as a hotspot and I will be connecting my laptop to it.
And then you will be singing Jeff Tate's praises for turning you on to being a hotspot junkie.
I will. I will reacquaint myself with Frequency Unknown or whatever album that was on. Dedicated to Chaos, I think, is the actual album.
I believe that you're correct.
And I'll be listening away going, Jeff had it right.
Yes. There was a lesson to be learned.
That's right. And he taught it. The great Jeff Tate. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Wow,
yeah,
we did an hour and 15 minutes and didn't talk about anything.
No, we were just shooting the shit about stuff.
Yeah.
We were like what's that new show you introduced me to tonight?
It's Too Late with Alan Mosley.
Yeah, well, we talked about stuff and subjects and stuff.
Yeah. Next week, though, seriously, I think we do soup tier.
Soup tier?
I'm gonna find 43 of my favorite soups.
43? Yeah. If 43 soups even exist?
We're gonna find 43 soups.
And we're gonna tier them.
Yeah, and we're gonna get a guest who's a doctor at some hospital somewhere or something.
Who's a soup connoisseur.
Yeah. Who's a soup guy.
Yeah.
And we'll do our soup tiers.
Okay. Why don't you find a virologist who understands soup and understands the anti-COVID properties of a certain soup?
Yeah, I think that would be.
If you eat this soup, you'll be protected.
Mm-hmm. We definitely need somebody that could tell us the proper temperature for each soup.
Right.
Because I don't know if you know this, but a chicken noodle soup can taste a little different if it's a little overcooked. Whereas a tomato soup is just perfect when it's a little bit overdone. If you cook a tomato soup to the point that it leaves just a little ring around the bowl.
Yes.
From overheating it.
Yes. Oh, delicious.
Delicious.
And if you dunk your grilled cheese sandwich in it, so much better.
But only if you use both American and provolone.
Right.
You got to have a mixture of the cheeses.
But if you really want to go crazy, put a scoop of ice cream in it. It'll make it so much better.
Just on the side, Neeley. Just on the side. You gotta have a scoop of ice cream on the side with your
is it cheese sandwich or a sherbet?
Well, for me, it would be sherbet, Neeley.
Right. Orange sherbet?
Yeah. Orange is good. Rainbow is good.
Okay.
Coconut is good.
Coconut.
Yeah, coconut sherbet. That's the shit.
All right.
I think we're coming up on a new one. I'm gonna find 83 different types of sherbet, and we're gonna do the sherbet tier next week.
Right, of course.
I think that's a good one.
That would be.
Look, the people are offering up their soups: tomato soup, French onion soup. All right, we need 41 more, guys. Come on.
Why don't you resort to the Book of Campbell, because they happen to have all the soups, beef and barley.
Right. Minestrone.
Right.
Or minestrone, as I used to call it as a kid.
Yeah, minestrone.
Minestrone.
Yeah, my mind is thrown eating this soup. It's so
cheddar
good.
broccoli.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at them just offering it up.
Eat with bacon.
Fish soup. Ew.
Fish head soup.
Ew, no. That would be low on my tier.
Right.
In fact, it might go in the never had tier, actually.
Yeah, it will go in the never had tier.
Yeah, cream of chicken. Mm.
Yeah.
Cream of some young guy.
Look at that. See, we made a segment spontaneous and made it fucking funny.
Yeah, exactly. And sadly, we're getting so many recommendations. I think the chat room wants us to do soup tier. I'm thinking they do.
So silly.
What a show that show. I knew that was going to be.
Oh,
I knew it was different, but I knew it was going to be a home run. I knew it was going to make you crazy.
Just drudgery.
I just knew it was going to make
it was
nuts.
just painful to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing redeeming about that show at all.
Right.
You know, you just sit there and go, when is this going to be over?
Yeah. Yeah, you do. But but it just kept on going. Dude, the funny part is that we could have listened to 33 more minutes.
Well, actually more because we skipped around.
Yeah, I know.
So literally, I think you may have played 15 minutes total of the whole show.
So there was 45 minutes left.
Yeah. That's a lot of show, especially that. Oh my God.
Especially the pie.
Oh,
we skipped 20 minutes of pie.
I know.
And we watched at least 10 minutes of pie. We watched at least 10 minutes of the pie, didn't we?
I think more like 8. I think we watched about 8 minutes of pie. We watched like 3 minutes of intro, 8 minutes of pie, and then like 10 minutes of viewer mail.
Yeah, the viewer mail.
Just horrible. All right. Well, I'll let you pick a departing song. So what should we play to take us out?
I want to hear how about Buy In or Sell Out from Sons of Texas.
Sons of Texas.
Yeah, from the Forged by Fortitude release.
Okay.
I like that band a lot.
All right. Forged by Fortitude. All right, I got it. And what was it?
Buy In or Sell Out.
All right, that's the lead off track.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to get out of here. We will be back next Saturday. We'll do this thing all over again. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in, hung out with us, listened to the show live, as well as the video, chat room, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck you, Ben. I'm going to play some Lynch Mob on my way out tonight, so suck my dick. All right, so until next Saturday night, this is Neeley, along with my very good friend
Chris Agan.
We're gone.
Bye, kids. Thanks for checking out this episode of The Classic Metal Show. Get all of our episodes uncensored at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. Join us weekly from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern at www.cmsradio.net. Participate in the live chat room at www.chatandkill.com. Once again, thank you for checking out The Classic Metal Show with Neeley and Chris. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job!
myhappydesires.com. Visit us at myhappydesires.com and add some toys to your toy box. Let your imagination be the guide to your stress relief. myhappydesires.com has everything for the perfect play night. Alone or not, you choose. Fuel your desires without breaking the bank. myhappydesires.com.